Hey everyone, welcome back. Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and tonight we have the Monday Market Report wrap up for the week ending May 7th, 2023. So I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to be taking a look at the most relevant, just sold within minutes, post 1900 modern era of coins that have sold here in the last 7 days. All coming, of course, from greatcollections.com, one of the best, I would say, auction houses around to date. No one else beats the fees of Great Collections. Just the speed in which you could get your coins auctioned off by them is unparalleled. And not to mention that if you're a buyer of said collector coins, look no further. Great Collections, one of the top auction houses on the net today. So after kind of like a little bit of, how do I describe it? Well, Central State's numismatic show was last weekend, and it went for the better part of about six days, somewhere around there. So there was a lot of coin show activity for most of the week last week, or the week before rather, not the week that we're wrapping up right now, but auction houses like Great Collections, they dialed down on a lot of their, marquee registry set consignments, and they're back this week. We have a number of them to talk about, actually, from top to bottom. Very impressive. We even have some coins that we've never personally talked about on a Monday Market Report making their debut here this week. Pretty relevant stuff. Pretty important that we realize that these coins certainly do hold some sort of robust market out there today. And we're going to continue to see that trend. I feel like that this is something that's going to forge forward going through the summer months, where normally, and anything has been typical, by the way, normally there's a little bit of a summer slowdown. Now, we'll see if that's the case this year, seeing as how the pandemic is far in our rearview mirror. That played a huge role in the collecting mentality of everybody who was into coins the last 2 or 3 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the market shapes up going into the summer months. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So yeah, we're pretty well represented from 1 cent denominations all the way up to half dollars. So I hope you guys enjoy what you see. And yeah, by the time it's all said and done, I would love to hear what your favorite coin of the week is. I have a few personally that I like, and we'll get to them here momentarily. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the first coin. Making its debut, the 2019 W. This is the Business Strike Uncirculated Lincoln Shield Cent. So as you guys know, this is a one-shot type of thing. It was only available in 2019 when you purchased kind of like select mint and proof sets for the year. So if you bought, say, the regular clad proof set, you also received the 2019 W regular proof coin in that as a bonus ball. And then if you also ordered the silver proof set, you got the reverse proof coin. And then finally, if you ordered just a good old-fashioned mint set, you ended up with the Business Strike coin. Now, they tried to continue this on for the next year with nickels, and they released 2 out of the 3 nickels somewhere along the line. They just could put a kibosh on the whole thing. The 2019 West Point Business Strike Jefferson nickel never happened. And if anyone claims that they did have one, you're probably lying, because they're not supposed to exist. So that makes the coin that you see on screen kind of a specialty. Mintages are very low on these. I would probably go out on a limb and say that around 400,000 pieces were produced. Again, it coincides with the actual sales of U.S. mint sets for that year. And I know mint sets traditionally take kind of like the caboose end of the popularity of a lot of these sets. Folks were just a little bit down on them, and rightfully so. Many years have gone by where these have been quite uninspiring, and that's even going through the 2000s when there was satin strikes and all that stuff. So anyways, very important coin here. It grades out a perfect mint state 70 red, even shows first day of issue. So this was submitted to NGC when it was received long time ago. I mean, 4 years old for this coin already. Holy crap. But anyways, NGC got this one. It ended up selling for $1,406.25. How much a PCGS graded coin of the same grade and first day of issue is anybody's guess. I'm gonna just probably say that it's gonna be a lot higher. 2x, probably not, but probably closer to $2,000 than this one is. The next one that we have here, I'm willing to bet that some of you have had some, childhood memories of this coin. It's a 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent. This was one of the coins that you could have found in specially marked packages of Cheerios cereal. I believe they had them in regular Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios during that year. But you had your chance of finding one of the Millennium 2000 dated Lincoln cents, or your chance at one of the very first Cheerios Sacagawea dollars. I didn't know exactly what the odds are. I'm not going to say it's like one per case found of the dollar coins, but as we know, those are quite valuable and quite scarce in their own right. But you can imagine a lot of kids opening up these boxes of cereal, finding their coin, and then eventually it would end up broken out of the packaging and into some piggy bank or spent buying ice cream, or something like that. I mean, we could all imagine what happens with these things when you're, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, sometimes the collectability of a coin doesn't matter so much then. So it's kind of surprising to see this one on here. Mid-State 68 red is the highest grade known for Cheerios, if I'm not mistaken. There might actually be a 68 plus. I'm not sure. I didn't look. But this one ended up selling for $2,812.50. And the only way that the graders will grade these as Cheerios is if you sent the coin in its original black packaging. All right. So it's like a card that has Cheerios logo on there. And this thing is hermetically sealed onto that piece of cardboard paper thing. Cards, probably more card stock than anything else. So it's not like you could just send a random 2000 dated Lincoln cent telling them, oh yeah, it's Cheerios dollar or a coin, not a dollar, but a cent. If it's not in the packaging, they will not attribute it as such. So these, out of nowhere, have kind of a little bit of a cult following. And as a result, prices are quite robust on these type of coins, especially at the highest grade levels. All right, so we just have some really bonkers, ultra-modern Lincoln cents, okay? They're all going to be made for registry sets, so why not breeze through them? 1994 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one grades PCGS Mid-State 69 red, and yes, that is the finest grade known of this particular coin, and $10,130.62 seems like not the right type of money for a coin like this that we all at one point probably have owned in really nice condition. Not to mention, all of the coins that circulated and we ended up not keeping them because it was just some ordinary date at that point. But yeah, $10,000 is kind of the high steep price that a registry set owner of Lincoln cents would pay for a monster like this. So there you go. I'm not telling you guys to go out and grade your 94s because it's quite difficult to grade these ultra moderns anyways. Same for this one here, 1992D Lincoln Memorial. This one also another 69 red through PCGS. However, there are a number of 92Ds that are graded at this high grade level. Unlike the 94 where there's only a few or maybe one. This one right here ended up selling for $2,923.88. you could see the overall price difference between the two coins, thereby leading us to believe that there are more 92Ds and 69 than the previous coin talked about. And then this one right here, glad to see that people are still finding these. They are just wildly popular. The 1990 proof sets are cherry picked to death of these things. So unless you have like a hidden cache of these things that you could go through, a lot of what you do come across at coin shops and shows more than likely are going to be cherry picked. All right, which means you won't find them. But this is the Missing S Mint Mark Proof 1990 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Of course, just a monstrous grade. Proof 69 red, deep cameo. Is quite a lofty grade for this one, and that equates to a lot of dollar bills. This one sold for $5,456.25. Again, this coin is just over 30 years old, so pretty crazy. Again, we all bought into the 1990s proof sets, especially our grandparents and parents bought quite a few of them, thinking that they would be a wise investment. Now, if it has a no S penny in there, good news. It's actually worth a few shekels. And again, another coin that probably shouldn't even sniff the list in terms of collectability. 1982D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is the large date zinc composition coin. All right, seems pretty unspectacular. Now that I said it's a zinkin. All right, and that's fine. However, you just can't get out of your brain the fact that this is a mint state 69 red as well. Okay, and a large date zinc. There can't be too many of these, of course. Another anomaly in the I guess the fabric of time when it comes to collectability of these particular coins. But $4,203. Ooh, man. I mean, it's life changing, but more so micro life altering, sort of. I mean, there are people that could use $4,000, I'm sure, but out of a 1982 dated Lincoln, I mean, if you had a 69 red, there's no stopping you from selling. As a matter of fact, I would probably encourage that. Oh boy, man, how have the mighty have fallen. 1964 Lincoln Memorial Cent. At one point in a mint state 67, which was the finest grade about 10 years ago, this was a coin that sold for $6,000 to $8,000. It was one of the most toughest dates to achieve a 67 or higher. And here we go. We have a 67 plus red, so it's a half a grade point higher than the previous, I guess, top pop grade that we knew 10 years ago. So these should be a lot more expensive, right? Well, not really. This one managed to squirt in $3,937.50, which is a roughly 50% less than what the top dollar figure was back a decade ago. So, yeah, pretty wild and crazy that these things almost need to be a mint state 68 in order to achieve that, that once promising $8,000 to $10,000 price level for these coins. But I think it's just a matter of more people are finding them, more people are submitting them to the graders, and more people are achieving these incredible grades like you see here. And the final, we went back almost 60 years. we skipped and leapfrogged a lot of pretty tough dates to get to this 1908 S Indian had sent, the very first year in which a 1 cent denomination coin featured a mint mark. So yeah, it's got a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a story to it that I think, the kiddies will appreciate. So PCGS got this one at mint state 66 red, and that's a total mic drop of a grade. When you have full red and Indian head cent in the same conversation, forget about it. They're all wildly expensive. Enthusiasts of this particular series are going to jump all over them, and they're just not as inexpensive as they used to be 10 years ago. The collectability is off the charts for really fine full red Indian head cents. So this one right here ended up selling for $3,937.50. which ironically is the same amount of money that the 64 before it sold for. So, I mean, if you were going to look at both coins, I'm like, the choice is pretty easy. You pick the Indian head cent. All right, it's going to appeal to not only probably a fringe registry set of Indian head cents, but more importantly, these are for collectors and investors to enjoy. And it's the type of coins that portfolios, dream of constantly. So really beautiful coin. All right, we do have a few nickels. Again, we're just going to run through these ones because they're just okay. I would say, like the 84p you see here, it is at a necessity. It's made for a registry set. Mint State 67 plus full steps is what's logged on this one by PCGS. And this one sold for $2,145.45. Same goes for this one. Now keep in mind, note, all right, this is a business strike coin and not an SMS. So if we go back and turn back the clock 60 years, guess what? They didn't make mint sets in 65 to 67 because they just had the SMS coins, which was kind of like a hybrid of a proof and a mint set type of strike. But yeah, these were very tough to find because not everybody held on to business strike coins after the coinage changed over in composition. All right, so yeah, people could care less, I suppose, about the new clad era of coinage. But this one is a Mint State 67. Guess what? It doesn't say full steps on there. So there is some collectability to these coins, even without the full steps. Just an incredibly difficult date. This one right here sold for $1,406.25. Again, the Mint State grade in itself is what carried this one to the moon. Now, my personal favorites out of the nickel series has to be the wartime silvers. They're all generally very well struck, and they're silver. All right, so they're kind of like this neat little mini subset that parallels greatly with a worldwide event that historians kind of yearn for. 1943S, wartime silver nickel right here with some toning that some would see offensive because it's quite dark and terminal, on the edge there. Me personally, I'm indifferent about it. It just gives it that extra level of skin to tell collectors like, hey, I'm problem-free and never been dipped, which some do like. PCGS got this one at Mint State 68 full steps, and this one ended up selling for $5,906.25. Again, the desirability for any one of the five, I suppose, or 4 years of the wartime silvers, these things are just going to be collected for years to come, and some of the most discerning deep pockets folks are going to want the finest grades. Okay, whether they're for registry sets or not. Same goes for this one. Again, we're talking S-mints here. Quality-wise, a little bit tougher, but we have a 42S. This one looks like it was cut from the same cloth as the previous coin. And it was. Mint State 68 full steps, another big one. This one sold for $3,730. And the final nickel, or Jefferson nickel, we didn't have any Buffaloes to highlight here this week. 1939D. And what's pretty important about this coin is that reverse of 1938, which is quite scarce at high grades. The reverse of 38 is a difference in design of the steps on Monticello. The reverse of 38 had what I called crudely engraved steps. So the steps were a little wavy compared to the reverse of 1940s, which, those particular step designs look pretty well hammered and straight. So again, it's something that you're going to have to pull up a magnifier or a microscope to actually see the difference. But this one right here is incredible. It's a 68 full steps, which, when you add that to the reverse of 38 design type, is just out of this world. So how does $6,417 sound to you for a sale price? It's astronomical. And Jefferson nickels, they're in a league all their own, as long as strike is in the conversation. All right, believe it or not, we did have a few dimes. Here's a 1982 plain no mint mark. So the Philadelphia business strike coins of this date were supposed to have a P mint mark designating the Philadelphia Mint. Now, there were a few examples that left the mint without the mint mark, okay? And that's the variety we're looking for here, folks. There are two different types of strike designations for the no mint mark 82s. There's a weak and a strong. The weak means that the strike is a little bit weaker on the obverse. You'll see things like the 8 and 2 of the dates a little soft. It's night and day. If you looked at both coins side by side, you could tell the difference. This is what they call the strong version of it. So with all those things factored in, this one did sell for $1,631.25. Beautiful coin. Again, these are out there for the taking. There was also an AU example that did sell for right around $100. So again, in the lower grades, probably don't need to grade them. They will certainly sell for themselves, but keep in mind that this one is floating around out there. You just have to buy dimes at the bank, right? And that's what it's going to take. We had a couple kind of crusty toned examples here. Here's a 52S. PCGS graded this one as a 68. Full bands, all right? So with that and the crusty toning to the mix, this one ended up selling for $1,406.25. And another one here, although the color is a little bit more attractive on the 48S you see here today. Again, more than likely a registry set piece. I wouldn't dare buy something like this to collect, only because if more people ended up with a 68 full bands in the future, it's just going to erode the value of a lot of these other coins that exist in that grade. So this one right here sold for $1,589.62. And the only other dime we have today, I'm glad to actually put in some sort of obsolete type piece other than the Indian head cent. There is the Mercury dime that you see here today. 27S, very tough date, especially in full bands. This one just so happens to have that. It's a 65 plus, and again, love or hate the toning, it's on there, and most collectors prefer to keep that on there. This one sold for $5,373.38. Beautiful piece. So we got a few quarters and a few half dollars to wrap things up here on the Monday Market Report. 1980p. Now this is probably one of the most, if I had to guess, craziest, polarizing type of, I guess, coins. Again, it's like anything goes. If anything happens, it happens. Kind of like that 94 Lincoln cent. That sold for over $10,000. I mean, come on. I mean, are you serious? But yeah, registry set participants are serious. They have all the money in the world for these things. 1980p, PCGS, Mid-State 68. And yeah, $4,674.38 was the kind of like the big Fortune 5 on this one. It's like, shoot, is there anything else better you could buy with $5,000? And I could think of a whole laundry list of things from like early pre-1933 gold, all these funny typeset pieces, early trade bust coinage. But yeah, again, this is kind of highlighting and illustrating this entire separate market for coins like this. And, it's not a matter of accepting it. It's just a matter of knowing that it does exist and that people are throwing money into these coins. Like the good old drummer boy. Now, I'm going to tell you what. I mean, this one didn't quite sell for nearly as the 1980, because we just don't see too many 1980Ps at the top grade. But this is kind of like the coin that everybody loves. Even when I come across them, I hold on to them because I just love these bicentennials. The dual date, the reverse design that's totally different. I feel like that even today, this coin is way better than any statehood quarter out there. But this is a Denver Mid-State 68 by NGC. And this one sold for $1,631.25. There is a silver uncirculated 40%er that exists that only came in a set from the U.S. Mint. So there's a couple different variations of this coin. But this is a clad copper nickel type piece here. And again, it's interesting to see these wild price values for these. And much like the 1965 nickel that we saw, here's another coin right here that, was held on to right from the very beginning, because it's not like you could go and buy BU rolls of this date because they just don't exist. They made SMS sets in 67. There were no mint sets, so it's not like you could buy a mint set to, cherry pick the finest graded example. So you're stuck with what's out there in the collectibles realm. Mid-State 68. Just a really tough grade, $3,550.50 was the sale price on this one. And, a couple another monstrous Kennedy half dollars, 1986D. Again, the registry set, whatever is strong this week. Mid-State 68. 68 seems to be that magical number with some of these modern coins, for them to be worth so much. This one right here, $2,531.25 was the final sale price. Again, there's no rationality here, folks, to these type of coins. These are coins that I threw in a slot machine 20 plus years ago when those machines were still taking coins. And there was just something neat about putting half dollars in a slot machine. And that's all I remember about using half dollars, and that was it. They just never circulated, but for the most part, they all did look beat up. And then there's the SMS coins that weren't supposed to have proof like, Cameo Frost. Like this one here. 1967 SMS coin, Ultra Cameo, so it's unlike any other SMS coin that you will come across. Mid-State 68 plus, sure, it's a pretty heavy grade to talk about there, but the price tag was just really wildly crazy. $14,062.50 was the final sale price of this King of Kennedys, even outselling some of the, I suppose, the accented hair 64s, which are pretty expensive in their own right, but it's just cool to see something like this. Again, there's no rationality here. It's just a coin that sold for way too much money than we're led to believe it does. And again, we just have to accept that the registry set game is strong out there. So, well, that's it. As you can see, a lot of ultra moderns this week, a lot of big price tags, and a lot of big questions, none of which I have answers for. But that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I am Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. If you're going to catch us on the Sunday night, hopefully you're having a great, restful evening. And if you're catching us on that Monday drive, have a great week. Don't work so hard. But that's going to go ahead and do it, my friends. You guys take care. Thank you again for all the views and support. And I will see you on the next coin video. So long.